Hi everyone, this is Devlina welcoming you all to another enriching episode of Icons Behind Brands. And today we have an esteemed business led leader joining us, Mr. Rajiv Gopal. With an impressive career spanning over 38 years, Rajiv brings a wealth of expertise in business strategy, profitable growth, and policy advocacy. Rajiv Rajiv is a consultant and coach in business strategy for profitable growth, policy advocacy, sales and marketing. Rajiv's previous role as a global chief sales and marketing officer of Aditya Birla Group into pulp and fiber businesses showcases his leadership in transforming organizations into customer-centric brands. So join us as we delve deep into Rajiv's journey and insights. A very warm welcome to you, Rajiv.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Rajiv, as we are going to talk a lot about marketing, marketing insights and the trends and other things. So before we, reach there, we would love to know about your journey, from where it has started and from where you have reached today. So we would love to, connect the dots. So yeah, if you just take us through that.
Yeah, you briefly did describe very shortly and clearly what I have done in my career. It spanned for 38 years, more than 38 years, 39 years to be precise. And it started as a management pupil in
Okay.
ITC many years back in 1982 after I graduated from BITS Pilani with B honors in mechanical engineering. So I joined that company, very fine company. Many people have heard about ITC. It's
Yeah, pretty
a great
known.
organization. Yeah, it's a great organization. So I spent my formative years, my middle years, almost a very long period of 29 years in ITC. And I went through all the steps and functions of an organization. I started on the shop floor. So
Okay.
I have worked in shifts in the factory because that's what they used to do. They used to take people from premier institutes and put them through all the motions in terms of understanding right from the beginning. So from the shop floor, understanding what happens, how do you treat workmen, how do you get work done from them, understanding the processes. So that's where it started. And then gradually I moved to other functions, into maintenance, into engineering, into production itself, and then into commercial roles. I did supply chain management. Then I did. I think the organization also realized that I had an inclination towards sales and marketing.
Okay.
So then I was taken into sales and marketing very early in my career. And then the journey started in sales and marketing as a branch sales manager in Hyderabad. And then onwards to other bigger roles, becoming a national sales manager for ITC's packaging and printing division, getting onto their management committee. Then I think it was around the time when the chairman of the company, the ex-Mr. YC Deveshwar, he was looking around for some talent to head new businesses. ITC was incubating new businesses into FMCG. That's where all these foods and lifestyle retailing and all these businesses started. So one of the businesses that he was wanting to start was safety matches.
Okay.
So this was a reserve business for small scale. So we had to set up a very robust supply chain, create a brand. So primarily the role was to create a robust supply chain and market it in the Indian market. That time, Vimco, which is the Swedish company, was the market leader.
Okay.
They were the only organized sector company. Everybody else was unorganized, was small scale because they did not issue license for manufacture. The government had made it reserved for small scale. So despite all those hurdles, we started, and very soon with our strength in distribution, marketing, and creating the right product, we were able to capture a very large market share. And I think that put pressure on Vimco to come to ITC and sell out. And we acquired that company from the Swedish Match, and then I was also made the managing director of that company. Turned that around. It was making a loss. Turned that around in about 18, 19 months.
Super. Phenomenal journey, Mr. Rajiv. Like you have started from shop floor to managing director and to where you have reached. So it's a phenomenal and very enriching journey. So I'm sure there are a lot to talk about leadership, life. I would love to know about how do you prioritize, self development and continuous learning as a leader, and what are the strategies do you employ to stay active and stay current to your industry right now?
Yeah, so I think as I grew in my career and in my roles, I realized first thing that one of the most important thing is to take care of your health.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm glad that I see that many more people are now becoming quite aware of this. But earlier they were not so aware. But I think to take care of your health is extremely important, because when you grow and you start taking on more and more responsibilities, the stresses that you undergo are quite significant. And I think unless you are able to keep your body healthy and your mind active, you can have some serious mishaps on the way. So I think the first and foremost thing is to keep yourself healthy, take care of your health, make sure that you have a routine in terms of some exercise that you do. And therefore, the second is keep yourself aware of all the new developments that are taking place in your industry and in the areas that you're passionate about. So don't remain in a hole or in a well. Learn about things that you care about. Learn about things that impact the business. So when about 10 years back or 9 years back, I think sustainability started taking a center stage in business.
Yeah.
And especially in the textile industry, which was creating a lot of waste. I think most of the global brands, whether it was any of these, Marks and Spencer, Zara, etc., they became very, very particular about where they are sourcing from. And whether the company that they're sourcing from and the product that they are sourcing is actually sustainable or not, or what are they doing to improve or enhance the sustainability of the entire value chain. So I think at that point of time, there were many in the businesses who thought that all this is waste of money. It is creating only cost rather than creating any advantage for business. But I think we learned it very fast that it is important that not only that we embark on this journey, embark on it seriously, but also use it as a marketing tool. So we did things that then we actually tried to weave into our own marketing campaign and into the stories that we told our customers as to how this particular fiber and this particular company will help them improve their sustainability credentials with their consumers. So I think that again became very important, and it was something which was just starting, but we caught it very early. So I think people have to start becoming aware of what things are around in the environment which are important, which need to be learned, which need to be imbibed, because these were all new things.
Yeah.
But the organization and the people who were working there in all fields, whether they were manufacturing, whether they were in marketing, whether they were in any other function, they had to learn about it very quickly and imbibe that into the business philosophy.
Okay. So when we're talking about something new, so let's talk about the emerging trends. What are the emerging trends and future prediction for global marketing, if we can discuss on this part?
So I think, brands will always remain central to any marketeer's effort. I think brands are critical, and you have to create strong brands. You have to create trustworthy brands. You have to keep nurturing the brands that you create. So I think brands will remain central. But other than that, I think what is happening today is in terms of digital. I think, the world is becoming digital now. So whoever is not adopting digital practices, cutting edge digital practices, will be left behind. So whether it is in terms of your communication, whether it is in terms of your research, whether it is in terms of taking your brands forward, I think digital has been, at least for the last few years, and will be for the next few years as well, central in terms of how you do things and how well you are able to do them and able to connect to your consumers. I think so that's very important. And I think this will remain true for the next few years as well. So marketeers have to become savvy in terms of digital now. Even if they are not, they have to learn about it very fast. And they have to adapt and adopt digital practice into their marketing campaigns, into their marketing strategies, into their marketing philosophies. So that's what is emerging now. So these are the things that have to be taken into account as we go forward.
So let's talk about in what ways do you believe that the cultural sensitivity and understanding plays a crucial role in successfully marketing products and services in India? India is diverse in culture. So I think that's a very relevant point to talk about.
Yeah, see, again, culture is again part of understanding human psyche and human behavior. So if you have to be a good marketer, you have to understand human behavior. And culture is part of the human behavior. I'm saying culture is actually made out of human behavior. So you have to understand the nuances, you have to understand the differences from region to region, from place to place, to be able to market your products effectively. So, and this includes everything, whether it is gender, whether it is, other issues which are impacting society. So it is important to be aware. It is important to be not make any major mistake around it. I think as long as you don't make a major goof up, consumers don't mind too much. But if you create a big goof up around any of these major issues, you have a poor campaign which is either targeting some particular community or something, or speaking ill about someone, you may not intend it. But if you're not careful, you may actually appear to be doing like that. And in today's word travels so fast and so rapidly, and it spreads so quickly that you won't know what has hit you. You have to be doubly careful about what you are saying, what you are speaking to consumers, what you're talking about your product and brand from a cultural prism, very, very clearly. So it is important, extremely important.
And I think this is one of the very crucial part of any marketers, to take risk and how much to take risk, because in today's era, when and as you said, that one message can spread so fast that you have no, there is no way to take it back, because
it's very difficult to pull back. Once you have made a mistake with consumers, because consumers have so much choice these days. If your brand they start shunning and adopting somebody else, or favoring somebody else, you will be just left behind. It's very difficult to pull back. So you have to be very careful.
True. Okay. So you have spent significant years in marketing. So budget is also a constant. So so we always fascinate about we should have an unlimited budget. Okay. So if you had an unlimited budget for marketing campaigns, so what innovative ideas would you implement to make a significant market impact?
Well, everybody dreams of reaching every last consumer on the earth with your message. All right. It's not so easy to do it, because obviously you need a lot of budget to reach every consumer. But if I had an unlimited budget, I would then design an individual campaign for everybody on this world, in my market at least. Whether my market is the world or the country or whoever, I would actually research every consumer, what exactly they want, and tailor my message according to that. And if I had the wherewithal to do it, I would do it then. I would even maybe send one person to each consumer and talk about it. So I'm saying, of course, when you talk about unlimited budget, then you are talking about something that you can do whatever you want. So what can be better than a person coming to your home and taking your permission and explaining to you about what my brand is and how it works for you, and showing you how it happens. So that's the ultimate way of communicating. But obviously we don't have the luxury of doing it, so therefore we then reach out to other cost-effective medias to do it. So television was one at one point of time, but today the social media is far more powerful and more cost-effective than that. So I think that's why more and more marketers are turning towards social media to communicate their messages. So, and maybe tomorrow, you never know, something else may come along. So,
yeah. So very, tactfully and very practically you have answered, Mr. Rajiv, this particular question. This is very fascinating, but at the same time, you took it very practically. I mean, if I have an unlimited budget, then I have everything unlimited, the resources to do the
yes,
research, and I would go and individually do a campaign. I will structure a campaign for each and every person so that, you reach the last customers as well.
right.
Awesome.
That's your aim. That's your ultimate aim.
That's your ultimate desire as a marketer, right? And and at the same time, you have also made me realize that, just because it's the limit and just because we have a limit cap on the cost, that's how the innovation comes. That's how your creativity comes in the picture and your role comes in the picture. Otherwise, I mean, there is no need for, all this qualification and experience, right? So awesome point. Yeah. So if you could describe yourself as a brand, what would your brand values and what would be your brand values and unique selling points be?
Well, I have always believed that the most important value that a brand stands for or should stand for is trust.
Awesome.
Trust. Because consumers actually buy you because of trust. And consumers should buy you because of trust, because you stand for something. And the consumer should have an unflinching faith that when I buy that brand, I will not be disappointed because this is what the brand stands for. Now, it could be anything. The brand could stand for anything, but you should not fail your consumer in that trust. So if my brand stands for creating an intangible, let us say, aura. So let's say I'm a Mercedes Benz or I'm I'm one of those fancy cars. Then the entire experience of owning that brand and driving that brand should be such that it creates that aura or it enhances that aura. Anything that comes in the way of that will then destroy my trust. So I don't care if it is, a few $100,000 more, but it has to give me that satisfaction that I'm buying it for. So that's the trust I'm talking about. So every brand has to create that trust in its own sphere. It can be a small thing, it could be just the fact that, it will last for a particular amount of time. Okay. And if it lasts for more than that, I'm happy. But if it lasts for anything less than that, then I'm very unhappy. And my trust is gone. I said, no, I will not take this brand again. So I think the most important thing, and trust is a very large and very all-encompassing thing. So you have to create trust. And that's has been my central theme. Whenever I talk to anybody, whether it's my employees or my people or anybody who's working with the brand, is that create trust.
Yeah. And I think that's the way to reach to the long-term, goal, because brand is nothing but, creating a space inside your customer's mind and heart. And
more heart than mind.
Then, yeah, exactly.
More heart than mind. It starts with the mind, but then it becomes the heart.
Eventually, it goes into your heart.
Because you have to start loving the brand.
Yeah. And the key point which you said, trust, you cannot love anything without trust. If you don't trust, there is no possibility, right?
And that's true about human beings as well.
Yeah.
You ask me about myself. Yeah, it's true about human beings. If you don't trust a person, then you will never go near him.
True.
He may be very bright, brilliant, intelligent, rich. You will not go to him.
Yeah. So nothing is going to convince you if there is this key element is not there. So I think you have done the bullseye with just one word.
Just one word. I don't want to beat around the bush. Just one. It's been my mantra all along. Trust.
True. Super. Okay. So, Mr. Rajiv, with that, now we will be moving towards a very interesting section, which is a rapid fire round. So it is going to help our viewers to know you as a person a little bit more, a little lighter section. The rules are, either one word answer or as minimum as possible, because some of the question might demand, more than one word for you to answer. Okay. So shall we start?
Yeah.
Okay. So what has been your favorite age so far?
Favorite what?
What has been your favorite age so far?
Age.
Yeah.
Favorite age?
Yeah, age.
Is 40s.
Awesome. I think that could be your a lot of turning points, and
yes, that's where you actually you blossom.
Yeah. Super. What is your favorite work memory?
Creating this brand, ingredient brand, has been phenomenal.
Super. What has changed the most since you have started your own firm?
Oh, I've become much more wiser.
Yeah, the lessons are very different.
It's spending your own money now, so you rather than spending a large company's money, it's very difficult, very different.
You're more creative.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to an employee on their day one?
Enjoy your journey.
Yeah. If you could not work in this industry, what profession would you pursue?
Law, I think.
Oh, it's pretty different. When are you most productive?
When I'm relaxed.
Super. What would you change about yourself?
Maybe nothing.
Yes. What advice would you give to your younger self?
Oh, too many advices. Too many. Be patient. Don't react so quickly to everything. I think be patient is one of the most important.
Awesome. And the same goes to a lot of young aspiring marketers and people who are going to watch this episode. The same goes to them as well.
True.
Okay, so with that, we are now out of the rapid fire round. And before we wind up the conversation, I just want you to talk with our viewers. So, what is your message for the aspiring marketing professional?
No, I think marketing is a great profession. I think I would think in the business, sales and marketing is perhaps the central function, and it is the responsibility of people in this function to actually take the organization forward. We are the eyes and ears of the company. We are the eyes and ears of we should be drivers of profitable growth for the organization, because it is from here that everything else starts. And we, the sales and marketing people, understand consumers and customers far better than anybody else. And we have to actually carry that message back into the organization and make the organization far more customer focused than they are right now. And you can always improve. Even if an organization is customer focused, it can become far better at it. And I think it is the role of the sales and marketing people to do that, to take that message inside, to make them understand what the customers are actually looking for, how things are changing, and what should be done in the organization to become far more customer focused.
Super, Mr. Rajiv. I mean, it was crisp and on point and very valuable, conversation. So, I had a good time talking to you, and I have picked up quite a few takeaway for me as well. And I'm sure our viewers will also find a lot of value from this conversation. So, I would like to thank you on behalf of our entire team, to accept this invitation and to come here, on a weekend. So thank you so much for being here, Mr. Rajiv.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.